Now let's talk a little bit about color schemes. So as artists, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we get really excited about colors, and often than not, you try to use every single color you can find in a painting, and that can often be a terrible mistake because it can clash. It can get too muddy, it can clash, it can be just overly busy, and there's nothing for your eye to rest on. And it's just a bad design and bad composition if you just throw everything in there. Like, not everything is gonna be rainbows, right? So, so when it's all over the place like that, sometimes it's not the best way to go. So so a lot of people choose to do limited palette, and limited palette can be something just something you choose to only use a certain pigment to mix, or using color schemes. So these color schemes, standard wise, starting from the most basic one, is it's not showed up here, but this is a good example. The first one I want to mention is called monochromatic. Monochromatic is just basically using one color and white and black. In watercolor, of course, if you're going to be a purist, it's just water, no white paint involved. But if you're using other mediums, white paint is the other thing. So this one, for example, I used a blue. So if you want to go into more technical terms, if you're adding a color with white, or in watercolor's case with water, it's called tinting. And if you're adding the color and add black to it, it's called shading. Just fun fact. If you don't have to remember these, you don't have to know these, but it's good to know. So that's monochromatic, and using just one color, it's very simple, but often you can create a great mood with that type of choice.